From San Diego, California, today I'm bringing you the new Mazda CX-5 2026. Will it be better than a Toyota recreational activity vehicle? 4 and a Honda compact recreational vehicle. Well, those two are the main direct rivals, the main competitors that Mazda is determined to beat in terms of sales, because they're doing really well. Mazda did enough for this CX-5 to be considered above Honda. Also, the Subaru Forester, the Nissan Rogue, and the Ford Escape are there in that compact SUV segment. Let's take a look, since there are some differences. This one changed in dimensions. There are features inside that will benefit a lot of people, especially those with small children and also families. This is a car that's worth considering. I'm going to tell you all about it next. From San Diego, welcome and goodbye. I'll discuss some design changes, as there are notable variations in this Mazda CX-5. But pay attention to what it offers inside, in terms of technology, space, and for families. Very important things that I'll tell you about later. But anyway, in terms of design, with the Mazda CX-5 in this version, you're going to get a slightly more aggressive grille, with a bit more personality. They've updated it, and you can see that. In addition, it has a system of sensors and radars that is much more refined. All those features they've added, and I'll tell you about them throughout the video. For the adaptive cruise control, and also the automatic lane change, which is something new that I'll explain to you later. So it has a good sensor system, a grille with a bit more functionality on the top and bottom. This color, which is a gray color complemented with black, I think it works quite well. And they've also made an update here in the front headlights with LED technology, LED projection lights, and the daytime running lights are also LED. Overall, I like the front look. Mazda vehicles, the front part. The front fascia, as they call it in English, I really like it because even though in terms of price, it has a pretty reasonable price, which I'll talk to you about later. For this new generation, the 2026 one, it looks stylishly luxurious, with a styling that could make it seem like a more expensive vehicle. But what about the engine? So, were there changes, Freddy? Does it have more power? Well, the news about the engine is that we have a 2.5-liter, which we can see here. That engine is naturally aspirated, an atmospheric engine. There's no turbo here. We don't have a turbo for this version anymore. And it's an engine that will give you 187 horsepower. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Really, in that regard, it doesn't change. All-wheel drive providing all-wheel traction comes standard, giving a competitive edge over Honda, which doesn't offer it. An important new feature is that this Mazda CX-5 is longer, 4.5 inches longer, and it's a bit taller, to allow even more versatility in the cargo space. And here we can see it. Look, the design looks pretty contemporary, pretty clean, let's say, a Mazda line that people really like. We have the tires for this version. The tires are 225 millimeters wide, but these are 19-inch rims with this design for this version, the most equipped version of the CX-5, which I think doesn't look out of place, but actually looks good. Now I want us to take a look at the interior, where there are some things Mazda has really worked on. But before that, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to give it a like. And for people who are looking for an SUV with these characteristics, whether you're considering a Honda compact recreational vehicle, a Toyota recreational activity vehicle, for a Subaru Forester, or the Mazda CX-5, it's important that you give it a like and subscribe so the video can reach more people and provide useful information to those who need guidance to make a good purchase decision. So I appreciate the like and the subscription as well, and I have some great content to share with you, so give it a like and let's head inside, into the cabin. This steering wheel is very well designed, with the Mazda logo prominently in the center. It has audio controls on the left, and on the right, the controls for the adaptive cruise control and M-Drive. That's where the driving modes are. I'll show you that when we're driving, but for now, let's start it up to continue this tour. Do you have a head-up display? In this version of the CX-5, which is the most fully equipped, the instrument cluster has also received updates. I'll talk more about that later, but I want you to see this, the big 15-inch screen. This huge 15-inch screen is available in this version. 15.6 inches, actually. It's the optional one. The standard one is 13 inches. This is the largest screen in its segment, and I want to show you some of its features, like the surround view camera, which you can play with here. Look at the number of apps it has. You have integrated Wi-Fi, so you can access each of your apps here and download apps like from the Play Store. You can watch YouTube, so you can look for Freddy Car Power, 360s videos, not miss any, and subscribe to the channel, We're still here looking at the apps. You have Spotify, and well, all the apps you're seeing here can be integrated, and the map also has Google integration. For example, let's ask Google to find us a restaurant. Hey Google, find me the closest restaurant. And there it is doing the search. It's doing it in the place where we are, here in San Diego. This is the demonstration we have of the Google integration, which now features on the big screen of the Mazda CX-5. You can also change the language settings to speak to Google in Spanish. It even tells jokes. How is the highway driving of the Mazda CX-5, the new one, the 2026 model here on the roads of San Diego, California? Here's something interesting. You can activate or change the 3 driving modes it has right from the steering wheel. Here it says My Drive. Okay, and right now I'm going to change it to the Sport driving mode. It's in normal. It was in normal. And now we're switching to Sport driving mode. In Sport driving mode, obviously, we get a better response. On the highway, we're also going to go through some mountainous areas. Lots of curves, slopes, but right now we're on a completely normal highway. For your driving in Sport mode, let's see how the acceleration is. Overtaking vehicles. Here we can see there's a bit of traffic. In San Diego, today is Wednesday. Yes, today is Wednesday and it's 10:15 in the morning. There's a good amount of traffic, which allows us to tell a story that's familiar to you, like your everyday driving. I'm pushing the car a little here, passing, and yes, I don't have any problem. Downhill. The one in Anacro, a little here we go. How do you see it in the mountain? It slides. Ukulele repealer. Here goes Zodio. Just go for it, and that's it. It's the one from perforated, but there are also versions with synthetic leather, or what they call leatherette, and I think it looks good. The center console is quite simple, minimalist, but it doesn't look out of place. And here we have wireless charging for the phone, so that's also available, but if you have a cable, you can connect your cable here, and it has more USB ports so you can connect your cables. And this would be the key for the Mazda CX-5 with the controls, the little buttons on the left side. You also have a couple of very convenient cup holders and an extra space there to, I don't know, put another phone. Not to charge it, but just to keep it there, like a spare, your glove compartment. And the rest is really the same as last year. The driving position is quite comfortable. And here's an important point. They've made the Mazda CX-5 a bit taller compared to the previous generation, compared to the previous model. I'm 1.70 meters tall, which in United States measurements is 5 feet 6 inches. But a person can easily. Someone who's 6'1", around 190 centimeters or so, can fit comfortably. No problem at all with headroom. You won't end up like Pedro Picapiedra, having to stick your head out the roof. It's something they've thought about to have a competitive advantage over their rivals. This is a segment, as we know, that's very desirable and highly competitive. The driving position is comfortable, and one important thing is that you have very good visibility, really good visibility. Here, they've really minimized the blind spots as much as possible, and that's a good thing, because safety features also matter a lot when it comes to everyday driving. In addition to everything that has to do with airbags, sensors, all of that. I think the visibility in this Mazda CX-5 is very good, and that's an important detail for CX-5 buyers. It's a competitive advantage and an improvement over the previous model. The rear seat space and wheelbase have both increased, providing more room. But there's a particular detail for those who have babies. The baby seat, or what they call the car seat, when it's facing backward. They've designed it in such a way that the rear space, that seat, fits perfectly. And here, I'll show you some images of how it fits perfectly, without having to move the front seat, the front passenger seat. And really, that's an advantage. CX-5 buyers? Besides, the legroom is also quite generous. You have more comfort, and I think the position itself is quite comfortable. The cushioning of the seats is good for this Mazda CX-5, which is an important detail, especially for buyers. I repeat, those who have families, not babies. Also, in the back you will have your air conditioning vents, and look, another important detail. heated seats for the passenger, as well as USB connectors for connectivity. But anyway, that's another new feature for this Mazda CX-5 that buyers are going to enjoy. If it's very cold, like it is here in San Diego, you'll have the option to heat those seats, so your backside stays nice and warm. Also, from here you can appreciate this huge panoramic sunroof, which has been made a bit larger for the Mazda CX-5 2026. So, both visually and in terms of experience, the cabin of this Mazda is really nice. Now, another important change for this new Mazda CX-5, which I think is a good point in its favor, is the digital instrument cluster. The cluster now has several configurations that allow you to minimize the need to look at the central screen. Even though it's big, it's one of the largest, maybe the biggest screen at 15 inches and the largest screen in the segment. The cluster screen, the instrument panel display. It also gives you the possibility to change and customize the information through the steering wheel, for example. If you have the global positioning system, the global positioning system active. As you follow the global positioning system route that tells you, let's say, turn by turn for each instruction, is that global positioning system also displayed on the instrument panel? It tells you when, for example, in the next 8 miles, It goes and tells you the name of the street where I have to make the next turn. Or turn left so you don't have to be looking at the map here constantly. Is that an advantage? Do you also have a representation, like Tesla style, of the lanes? You can already see there, let's say, you can see the graphic representation of your Mazda CX-5. But if there were other cars around, other vehicles around, it also has that representation. Where is that sensor system located? Do you have the audio information? For example, if you want to change the audio source, you can do it here from the steering wheel buttons, and you can switch to the Sirius satellite system. Or if you have something on a USB, like on a flash drive, you can also plug it in there. Or if you have Spotify, well, you can use all the audio sources. You don't have to be here, let's say, fiddling with your right hand while staying focused. But it makes things a bit easier within your own line of sight. That's to avoid or minimize distractions. And also, obviously, the speedometer, your miles, fuel information here. For example, here are the fuel economy levels. It's showing them to me. How many kilometers or miles do I have left before I need to fill up the gas tank? All that information has been optimized. They've improved the cluster, the dashboard of gasoline and the safety features. But in terms of versatility, which has to do with this rear seat, it's about how that cargo space is, and you can recline this manually. But there's also something in the back, in the cargo area, that I want to show you. You can also open this door, obviously with the key, but it also has its regular opening button. But look at this. I want to show you this latch you have here. And look at the effect it has on the seat. You just push it, and it's really easy. Over there, you can see how it expands the cargo space. That one too. And the other one as well. And look, you have all that space. We have this cover so you can put your things here, and continuing with more versatility features. Look at this. If you have, for example, one of those surfboards, let's assume this is the surfboard, you can put it here in this space. Has this been another accessory or feature that they've added to the Mazda CX-5 to increase convenience for those people who surf? Maybe you go and buy a plank at a lumber store. You need a little more space. You no longer have to call your neighbor or family member to lend you their big pickup truck. Now here you can fit certain things that you couldn't in the previous version of the Mazda CX-5. And down here we have the spare tire, so that wraps it up. The cargo area. It's a good cargo area. If you're considering a compact SUV, the CX-5 has all of this to offer you. Also, in terms of design, you'll notice the arches here on the wheel wells. The wheels are in a glossy black tone, and contrasting with that, I think it gives it a nice character element. Also, on the lower part, we find that same glossy black in the back. The taillights have also been updated. We have LED technology. Here we have the old drive CX-5, the Mazda emblem logos, the rear windshield, and on the rear spoiler. That's something that hasn't changed compared to the previous model, and there's a dual exhaust pipe on the lower part. But how does this Mazda CX-5 perform? Here, for example, Going up the mountain, of course, it struggles a bit. It's a small engine, there's no doubt about that. But look, I'm going through several curves right now, and I think the cameras are able to show you where we are. Also, it's a beautiful landscape, a gorgeous scenery. Naturally, these drives around this area of California are always very nice. But the curves? Doesn't the dynamic performance of the Mazda CX-5 stand out? A bit more power wouldn't hurt, but when it comes to curves, I don't notice too much body roll or leaning. I mean, I think they brought us here because sometimes they plan the route very well to highlight certain features of the vehicle. And in that, let's say, they're very meticulous. They choose each of the routes because they know that if there's any weak point, if it's a vehicle that could be exposed to some criticism, they won't take you on certain routes, right? Here, he took me a while ago on a route with a lot of curves because I find it very stable. The Mazda CX-5 is very stable, with, as I said, little body roll, and it feels good. I mean, I can't really complain. I think it's quite pleasant, good ride quality, even on a road with as many curves as the one I'm experiencing right now. And besides all that content I mentioned about the Mazda CX-5, there's something new that works with the cruise control system, and that's the lane change assist with the turn signal when you have the cruise control activated. Like I have it right now, the only thing is that the traffic isn't letting me demonstrate it. But a new driving assist is that when you activate the turn signal, the sensors, the set of sensors and radars that the Mazda CX-5 has, when they detect that it's safe to change lanes, it does the change automatically when you activate the turn signal. What's an important new technology feature in the Mazda CX-5? And in terms of fuel economy, we have good numbers. 24 miles per gallon in the city, 30 miles on the highway. That gives you an average between 24 and 26 miles per gallon, which really isn't bad for the segment. And about the price, do you want to know? Of course, that's a very good question about the price. Well, the price range for this Mazda CX-5 starts at $30,000 and goes up to $40,000. I'm telling you, for the most basic version, it's $30,000. I think you're getting a good vehicle because the safety features, all the airbags, come standard even in the base model. This is for the United States market. I can't speak for other markets since I don't know which variants are offered. Airbag count and safety features may vary, but the United States provides many, starting from the most basic model, which you can get for $30,000, and going up to the most equipped version, which is one of these, at $40,000. Now then, is the Mazda CX-5 better than the Toyota Recreational Activity Vehicle 4 or the Honda Compact Recreational Vehicle, or what does it do better? Well, let's find out. In terms of price, the Mazda costs less than the Recreational Activity Vehicle 4. The Mazda CX-5 is preferred over the Recreational Activity Vehicle 4, Ford Limited All-Drive, and it practically costs the same as the Honda Compact Recreational Vehicle, the X All-Drive, but it offers you more technology equipment. Mazda wins. You have 12.9-inch screens compared to the 9-inch ones that Honda offers you, and in its Premium Plus version, it even surpasses Toyota with its 12-speaker audio system from Bosch. In terms of standout equipment, the Mazda CX-5 includes features like the active driving display, leather seats, Google built-in, that is, the integrated Google system, automatic folding mirrors, and advanced driver assistance. And in terms of safety, according to crash tests, Mazda consistently receives good ratings, even where some rivals drop to marginal or poor. Well, what do you think about this new version of the CX-5? Would you buy it over a Honda Compact Recreational Vehicle or a Toyota Recreational Activity Vehicle 4? Let me know in the comments. Rate it from 1 to 10. What feature do you think suits you best? Or which ones did you like the most, and what did you like the least about the CX-5? I'll be reading your comments. I really want to hear from you. That's all from here. It was a pleasure being with you, and I send you a big hug. Bye.